Chapter 1. The blaring alarms jolted Dr. Liam Novak from his restless slumber. He sprang from the cot in his cramped lab, heart pounding as he rushed to the containment unit. The flashing red lights confirmed his worst fears, a breach. No, 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 Liam muttered, his fingers flying across the keypad. He had to seal the breach before it was too late. Behind the reinforced glass, a swirling mass of black and red pulsed angrily, like a living entity desperate to break free. The Prometheus Strain, the most dangerous virus ever engineered, was mere moments away from escaping. Liam's mind raced as he worked, his years of research and countless sacrifices flashing before his eyes. The virus, designed to target specific genetic sequences, had the potential to revolutionize medicine. But in the wrong hands, it could become the deadliest weapon the world had ever seen. A sudden hiss of air broke Liam's concentration. He looked up, his blood running cold. The containment unit was empty. The Prometheus Strain was gone. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder by the second. Liam knew what that meant. The facility was going into lockdown. No one could be allowed to leave, not with the virus on the loose. He had to find it, had to stop it before it was too late. The fate of humanity rested on his shoulders. Liam grabbed his phone, his hands shaking as he dialed the only person he could trust. "Mia," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's happened. The virus is out." There was a pause on the other end of the line. "I'm on my way," Mia replied, her tone grim. "We'll fix this, Liam. We have to." As the call ended, Liam took a deep breath, steeling himself for the battle ahead. The Prometheus Strain was his creation, and he would do whatever it took to contain it, even if it meant sacrificing everything he held dear. Chapter 2. The facility was in chaos as Liam raced through the corridors, his lab coat billowing behind him. Alarms blared and red lights flashed, casting an eerie glow on the panic-stricken faces of his colleagues. He pushed past them, his mind focused on one thing, finding the Prometheus Strain. Mia met him at the entrance to the high-security lab, her dark hair pulled back in a tight ponytail. "What happened?" she asked, her voice tense. "I don't know," Liam admitted, swiping his access card and entering the lab. "The containment unit was breached, and the virus is gone." They worked quickly, checking the security footage and analyzing data from the containment unit. Minutes turned into hours as they searched for any clue that could lead them to the missing virus. Suddenly, Mia gasped, "Liam, look at this." On the screen, a figure in a hazmat suit could be seen entering the lab moments before the breach. The figure moved with purpose, bypassing security protocols with ease. "Who is that?" Liam asked, his heart sinking. Mia shook her head. "I don't know, but whoever it is, they knew exactly what they were doing." The realization hit Liam like a punch to the gut. The Prometheus Strain hadn't just escaped, it had been stolen. As they dug deeper, a pattern began to emerge. The figure in the hazmat suit had been seen in other parts of the facility, always just before a critical system failure or security breach. "This was planned," Liam said, his voice hollow. "Someone wanted the virus, and they were willing to do anything to get it." Mia placed a hand on his shoulder, her eyes filled with determination. "We'll find them, Liam. We'll get the virus back." But even as she spoke, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that they were already too late. The Prometheus Strain was out in the world, and there was no telling what kind of damage it could do. As they left the lab, Liam's phone buzzed with an incoming call. He glanced at the screen, his blood running cold. It was a number he didn't recognize. "Hello," he answered, his voice shaking. "Dr. Novak," a distorted voice replied. "You have something that belongs to us." Liam's grip tightened on the phone. "Who is this?" "That doesn't matter," the voice said. "What matters is that we have the Prometheus Strain, and we're not afraid to use it." The call ended abruptly, leaving Liam standing in the corridor, his heart racing. He turned to Mia, his face pale. "We have to stop them," he said, "before it's too late." Chapter 3. Liam's mind raced as he tried to process the chilling phone call. The distorted voice, the threat of unleashing the Prometheus Strain, it all seemed like a nightmare he couldn't wake up from. He looked at Mia, her face etched with worry, and knew they had to act fast. "We need to trace that call," Liam said, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through his veins, "and we need to do it now." Mia nodded, already pulling out her laptop. "I'll get started on the trace. You should alert the authorities and let them know what's happening." Liam hesitated for a moment, knowing that involving the authorities could lead to unwanted attention and scrutiny. But he also knew that they needed all the help they could get. He picked up his phone and dialed the emergency number. As he waited for the call to connect, Liam's mind wandered to the Prometheus Strain. He had been so excited about the potential of the virus, the way it could target specific genetic sequences and revolutionize medicine. But now, in the wrong hands, it could be a weapon of mass destruction. The call connected, and Liam quickly explained the situation to the operator. He could hear the disbelief in their voice, but he didn't have time to convince them. He ended the call and turned to Mia. "Any luck with the trace?" he asked. Mia shook her head, frustration evident on her face. Whoever made that call knew what they were doing. They bounced the signal off multiple towers, making it nearly impossible to pinpoint their location. Liam sighed, running a hand through his hair. "So, what do we do now?" "We keep looking," Mia said, her voice filled with determination. "We analyze every piece of data we have, every security camera footage, every log entry. We find a pattern, a clue, anything that can lead us to the thieves." Liam nodded, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. They worked tirelessly, combing through gigabytes of data, searching for any sign of the Prometheus strain. Hours turned into days, and Liam could feel the exhaustion creeping up on him. But he pushed through, fueled by the thought of what could happen if they failed. Just as he was about to give up hope, Mia called out to him. "Liam, I think I found something." He rushed over to her workstation, his heart pounding. On the screen was a grainy image of a man, his face partially obscured by a hat and sunglasses. "Who is that?" Liam asked. "I don't know," Mia admitted, "but he's been seen at multiple locations associated with the thefts. And look at this." She zoomed in on the image, revealing a tattoo on the man's neck. It was a strange symbol, one that Liam had never seen before. "What is that?" he asked. "I'm not sure," Mia said, "but I think it might be our first real lead." Liam felt a glimmer of hope, even as the weight of their task pressed down on him. They were one step closer to finding the Prometheus strain, but they still had a long way to go. As they continued their search, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that they were running out of time. The thieves had the virus, and there was no telling what they planned to do with it. But he wouldn't give up. He couldn't. The fate of countless lives depended on him and Mia, and they would do whatever it took to stop the Prometheus strain from being unleashed on the world. Chapter 4. Liam stared at the tattoo on the screen, his mind racing with possibilities. The symbol was unlike anything he had ever seen before, a complex pattern of lines and curves that seemed to defy interpretation. "Can you run it through the database?" he asked Mia, his voice tight with tension. She nodded, her fingers already flying across the keyboard. "I'm on it. If this tattoo is associated with any known criminal organizations or individuals, we should be able to find a match." As Mia worked, Liam paced the room, his thoughts consumed by the thief and the stolen virus. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were up against something bigger than they had originally thought, a conspiracy that went beyond a simple theft. Minutes turned into hours as Mia searched the database, her brow furrowed in concentration. Liam tried to occupy himself with other tasks, but his mind kept wandering back to the tattoo and the man who bore it. Just as he was about to lose hope, Mia let out a triumphant cry. "I found something." Liam rushed to her side, his heart pounding with anticipation. On the screen was a file, a dossier on a man named Victor Novak. "Novak?" Liam whispered, his blood running cold. "Is he related to me?" Mia shook her head. "I don't think so. It says here that he's a former Special Forces operative, dishonorably discharged for conduct unbecoming. He's been linked to several mercenary groups and criminal organizations over the years." Liam studied the file, his eyes drawn to the image of Victor's tattoo. It was an exact match to the one they had found in the security footage. "What does he want with the Prometheus strain?" Liam wondered aloud. "I don't know," Mia admitted, "but whatever it is, it can't be good." Liam felt a wave of determination wash over him. They had a lead, a name, and a face to put to the thief. It was more than they had before, and it was a start. "We need to find him," Liam said, his voice steady. "We need to find out what he's planning to do with the virus and stop him before it's too late." Mia nodded, her eyes blazing with the same determination. "I'll keep digging, see if I can find any more information on Novak or his associates. You should reach out to your contacts, see if anyone has heard anything about the theft or the virus." Liam agreed, and they set to work, each focused on their own task. He called in every favor he had, reaching out to old friends and colleagues in the hopes that someone, somewhere, had heard something about the Prometheus strain. As the hours ticked by, Liam could feel the pressure mounting. Every minute that passed was another minute that Novak had to carry out his plan, whatever it may be. Just as he was about to give up hope, his phone buzzed with an incoming message. It was from an old friend, a fellow researcher he had worked with years ago. "I heard about the theft," the message read. "I might have some information that could help. Meet me at the old lab, tonight at midnight. Come alone." Liam's heart raced as he read the message. It could be a trap, a ploy to lure him away from the safety of the facility. But it could also be the break they needed, the key to finding Novak and the Prometheus strain. He looked at Mia, his face set with determination. "I have to go," he said. "I have to see what this is about." Mia looked like she wanted to argue, but she knew as well as he did that they couldn't afford to pass up any leads. "Be careful," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Liam nodded, already gathering his things. He had no idea what he was walking into, but he knew one thing for certain. He would do whatever it took to stop Novak and the Prometheus strain, even if it meant risking his own life in the process. Chapter 5. Liam arrived at the old lab at the stroke of midnight, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The building looked abandoned, its windows boarded up and its walls covered in graffiti. He couldn't help but wonder what secrets it held, what dark truths he was about to uncover. As he approached the entrance, he saw a figure emerge from the shadows. It was his old friend, Dr. Ethan Reed, looking haggard and worn. Liam hadn't seen him in years, but he could tell that something was wrong. "Ethan," Liam said, his voice cautious. "What's going on? Why did you ask me to meet you here?" Ethan looked around nervously, as if expecting someone to jump out at any moment. "I had to see you in person," he said, his voice low and urgent. "I couldn't risk anyone else finding out." Liam felt a chill run down his spine. "Finding out what?" Ethan took a deep breath, his eyes locked on Liam's. "I know who took the Prometheus strain," he said, "and I know what they're planning to do with it." Liam's eyes widened in shock. "Who?" he demanded. "Who took it?" Ethan hesitated, as if struggling with the weight of his knowledge. "It was a group called Ascension," he said finally. "They're a secret society, a cult really. They believe that humanity has reached a dead end, that we need to evolve to survive." Liam felt a sense of dread wash over him. And how does the Prometheus strain fit into that? "They think it's the key," Ethan said, his voice shaking. "They believe that the virus can be used to create a new species, a better version of humanity. They're willing to do anything to make that happen, even if it means wiping out millions of people in the process." Liam's mind reeled with the implications. The Prometheus strain was designed to target specific genetic sequences, to alter the very fabric of life itself. In the wrong hands, it could be a weapon of unimaginable power. "We have to stop them," he said, his voice firm. "We can't let them unleash the virus." Ethan nodded, his face grim. "There's more," he said. "I think they have someone on the inside, someone at the facility. That's how they were able to steal the virus in the first place." Liam's blood ran cold. The thought of a traitor in their midst was almost too much to bear. "Do you have any idea who it could be?" he asked. Ethan shook his head. "I don't know for sure, but I have my suspicions. You need to be careful, Liam. You can't trust anyone, not even the people closest to you." Liam nodded, his mind already racing with possibilities. He knew he had to get back to Mia, to tell her what he had learned. But first, he needed to know more. "How do you know all this, Ethan?" he asked. "How did you get involved with Ascension?" Ethan's face twisted with pain and regret. "They approached me a few months ago," he said. "They said they needed my help, that I was the only one who could make their vision a reality. I was foolish enough to believe them." Liam felt a wave of sympathy wash over him. He knew all too well the allure of scientific discovery, the temptation to push the boundaries of what was possible. But he also knew the dangers of unchecked ambition, of playing God with the building blocks of life. "We'll stop them, Ethan," he said, his voice firm. "We'll find a way to get the virus back and make sure Ascension never gets their hands on it again." Ethan nodded, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "Be careful, Liam," he said. "Ascension is powerful, and they won't stop until they get what they want. Trust no one, not even me." With those final words, Ethan disappeared back into the shadows, leaving Liam alone with his thoughts. He knew he had to act fast to find a way to stop Ascension before it was too late. But he also knew that the road ahead would be treacherous, filled with danger and deceit at every turn. As he made his way back to the facility, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, that Ascension was already losing in. He knew he had to be vigilant, to trust his instincts and stay one step ahead of his enemies. The fate of humanity itself hung in the balance, and he was the only one who could stop the Prometheus Strain from being unleashed upon the world. Chapter 6. Liam's mind raced as he drove back to the facility, his knuckles white against the steering wheel. The revelation of Ascension's involvement and the possibility of a traitor within their ranks weighed heavily on his shoulders. He knew he had to act fast, but he also knew that one wrong move could be catastrophic. As he pulled into the parking lot, he noticed Mia waiting for him at the entrance, her face etched with worry. He quickly filled her in on his meeting with Ethan and the disturbing truths he had uncovered. "We need to find out who the traitor is," Mia said, her voice low and urgent. "We can't let them compromise our efforts to stop Ascension." Liam nodded, his mind already working through the possibilities. "We'll have to be careful," he said. "We can't let on that we know about the mole. We need to gather evidence and catch them in the act." They made their way inside, the hallways eerily quiet in the late hour. Liam couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, that every shadow held a potential threat. As they entered the lab, they were greeted by a flurry of activity. The team had been working around the clock to analyze the data from the security breach, hoping to find some clue as to the whereabouts of the Prometheus Strain. "Any progress?" Liam asked, his voice tight with tension. Dr. Cynthia Harwood, the lead researcher on the project, shook her head. "We've been combing through the data, but so far, we haven't found anything useful. It's like the virus just vanished into thin air." Liam felt a wave of frustration wash over him. Every minute that passed was another minute that Ascension had to carry out their twisted plan. "Keep looking," he said, his voice firm. "We can't afford to miss anything." As the team got back to work, Liam pulled Mia aside. "We need to start digging into the backgrounds of everyone on the team," he said quietly. "We have to find out who has ties to Ascension." Mia nodded, her eyes narrowed with determination. "I'll start with the security personnel," she said. "If there's a mole, they're the most likely suspects." Liam felt a surge of gratitude for Mia's unwavering support. He knew he couldn't do this alone, that he needed someone he could trust by his side. As they set to work, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that they were racing against the clock. Every minute that passed was another minute that Ascension had to unleash the Prometheus Strain upon the world. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the facility, causing everyone to freeze in their tracks. Liam's heart sank as he realized what it meant: another breach. He and Mia raced to the containment unit, their hearts pounding with fear. When they arrived, they found the room in chaos, with shattered glass and twisted metal scattered across the floor. In the center of the room, a figure lay crumpled on the ground, unmoving. Liam's blood ran cold as he recognized the face, Dr. Harwood. He rushed to her side, checking for a pulse. To his relief, she was still alive, but barely. Her eyes fluttered open, and she grabbed his arm with a surprisingly strong grip. "Liam," she whispered, her voice weak and raspy. "It was Victor. He's the mole. He took the virus." Liam's mind reeled with the revelation. Victor, the man with the tattoo, the former Special Forces operative. He had been right under their noses the whole time. As Dr. Harwood slipped into unconsciousness, Liam and Mia exchanged a look of grim determination. They knew what they had to do. They had to find Victor and stop him before it was too late. But as they raced out of the containment unit, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were already too late, that the Prometheus Strain was already on its way to unleashing a new era of terror upon the world. Chapter 7. Liam and Mia wasted no time in launching their search for Victor. They knew that every second counts, and the longer the Prometheus Strain remained in Ascension's hands, the greater the risk of a catastrophic outbreak. They began by combing through Victor's background, looking for any clues that might lead them to his whereabouts. Mia focused on his military records, while Liam delved into his personal life, searching for any connections to Ascension. As they worked, the tension in the room was palpable. The weight of the situation hung heavy on their shoulders, and the knowledge that they were racing against the clock only added to the pressure. Suddenly, Mia let out a gasp. "I think I found something," she said, her voice trembling with excitement. "Victor has a sister named Nadia, and according to his records, she's a member of Ascension." Liam's heart raced as he leaned over to look at the screen. Sure enough, there was a photo of Victor and Nadia, their arms around each other, smiling at the camera. "That's our link," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "If we can find Nadia, we might be able to get to Victor." They quickly set to work, tracking down any information they could find on Nadia. It wasn't long before they had a lead. She had been spotted at a warehouse on the outskirts of the city, a known hideout for Ascension. Without hesitation, Liam and Mia gathered a team and set out for the warehouse. They knew they were walking into a dangerous situation, but they also knew that they had no choice. The fate of the world was in their hands. As they approached the warehouse, Liam could feel his heart pounding in his chest. He knew that Victor and Ascension would be waiting for them, ready to do whatever it took to keep the Prometheus Strain in their possession. But he also knew that he had Mia by his side, and together they were a force to be reckoned with. They had faced countless challenges before, and they had always come out on top. They burst into the warehouse, guns drawn, ready for anything. But what they found inside was beyond their wildest nightmares. The warehouse was filled with bodies, dozens of them, all in various stages of decay. The stench was overwhelming, and Liam had to fight the urge to gag. And there, in the center of the room, stood Victor, a twisted grin on his face. In his hand, he held a vial of the Prometheus Strain. "You're too late," he said, his voice dripping with malice. "The virus has already been released. Soon, the world will be remade in Ascension's image." Liam's heart sank as he realized the true extent of Victor's plan. He had never intended to use the virus as a bargaining chip or a weapon. He had always planned to release it, to let it run rampant and create a new world order. But Liam refused to let that happen. He raised his gun, ready to take the shot, but Victor was too quick. He lunged forward, knocking the gun from Liam's hand and sending it skittering across the floor. The two men grappled, trading blows and fighting for control of the vial. Mia jumped into the fray, trying to pry the vial from Victor's grasp, but he was too strong. In a last-ditch effort, Liam managed to get his hands on the vial. He held it aloft, ready to smash it to the ground, but Victor's words stopped him cold. "If you destroy that vial, you'll be killing millions," he said, his voice eerily calm. "The virus has already been released. The only way to stop it is to use the antidote, which only I have access to." Liam hesitated, the vial hovering inches above the ground. He knew that Victor was telling the truth, that destroying the vial would be condemning countless innocent lives to a horrific death. But he also knew that giving in to Victor's demands would be playing right into Ascension's hands. They would use the antidote as a bargaining chip, holding the world hostage and shaping it to their twisted vision. In that moment, Liam made a choice. He locked eyes with Mia, a silent understanding passing between them. Then, with a final, decisive motion, he brought the vial down, shattering it against the ground. The Prometheus Strain was gone, but so was any hope of stopping the outbreak. The world was in chaos, and Liam and Mia were at the center of it all, the weight of their decision bearing down on them like a physical force. But they knew that they had made the right choice. They had refused to bow to Ascension's twisted demands, and in doing so, they had taken a stand for humanity. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but Liam and Mia were ready to face it together. They had each other, and that was enough. Together, they would find a way to stop the outbreak and bring Ascension to justice. No matter what challenges lay ahead, they would never stop fighting for what was right. The world needed heroes, and Liam and Mia were ready to answer the call. Chapter 8. The world descended into chaos as the Prometheus strain spread like wildfire. Panic and fear gripped the masses as reports of the virus's devastating effects flooded the news. Governments scrambled to contain the outbreak, but their efforts seemed futile in the face of the relentless virus. Liam and Mia found themselves at the center of the storm, their decision to destroy the vial weighing heavily on their consciences. They knew that they had made the right choice, but the cost was immeasurable. As they watched the world crumble around them, Liam and Mia knew that they couldn't sit idly by. They had to find a way to stop the virus and bring Ascension to justice. They began by reaching out to their contacts in the scientific community, hoping to find someone who could help them develop a cure. They spent countless hours in the lab, poring over data and running simulations, but progress was slow. Meanwhile, Ascension was growing bolder by the day. They claimed responsibility for the outbreak and promised to bring order to the chaos, but their true intentions were far more sinister. Liam and Mia knew that they had to act fast. They gathered a team of trusted allies and set out to infiltrate Ascension's headquarters, determined to find the antidote and put an end to their reign of terror. As they made their way through the heavily guarded compound, they encountered resistance at every turn. Ascension's soldiers were well-trained and heavily armed, but Liam and Mia were fueled by a sense of purpose that couldn't be stopped. They fought their way to the heart of the compound, where they found Victor waiting for them. He was surrounded by a small army of Ascension's most loyal followers, all of them ready to lay down their lives for their twisted cause. Liam and Victor faced off, their eyes locked in a battle of wills. Victor taunted Liam, telling him that he had already lost, that the world would never be the same. But Liam refused to back down. He knew that he had to end this, once and for all. In a final, desperate move, Liam lunged at Victor, grappling with him for control of the antidote. The two men fought viciously, trading blows and grappling for dominance. Just when it seemed that Victor would emerge victorious, Mia stepped in, delivering a crushing blow that sent him reeling. Liam seized the opportunity and grabbed the antidote, holding it aloft in triumph. With the antidote in hand, Liam and Mia knew that they had a fighting chance. They quickly made their way out of the compound, dodging bullets and fighting off Ascension's soldiers every step of the way. As they emerged into the daylight, they were greeted by a world in shambles. The streets were deserted, the buildings crumbling. The Prometheus strain had taken its toll, leaving destruction and despair in its wake. But Liam and Mia refused to give up hope. They had the antidote, and they were determined to use it to save as many lives as they could. They set to work distributing the antidote, racing against time to stop the spread of the virus. It was a daunting task, but they were fueled by a sense of purpose that couldn't be stopped. As the days turned into weeks, the world slowly began to heal. The antidote was working, and the virus was losing its grip on humanity. Liam and Mia knew that there was still a long way to go, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They had each other, and they had the strength of their convictions. Together, they would rebuild the world, one day at a time. They would never stop fighting for what was right, never stop believing in the power of the human spirit. The Prometheus strain had brought the world to its knees, but Liam and Mia had shown that even in the darkest of times, there was always hope. And with hope, anything was possible. Chapter 9. The antidote spread as quickly as the virus had, bringing a glimmer of hope to a world shrouded in darkness. Liam and Mia worked tirelessly, coordinating with governments and healthcare organizations to ensure the cure reached every corner of the globe. As the number of infected individuals dwindled, the true extent of the damage became apparent. The Prometheus strain had not only claimed countless lives, but also fractured societies and economies. The road to recovery would be long and arduous. Amidst the chaos, Liam and Mia found solace in each other's company. Their shared experiences had forged an unbreakable bond, and they drew strength from their love and determination. One evening, as they sat in a makeshift relief center, Mia turned to Liam with a troubled expression. "We stopped the virus, but what about Ascension? They're still out there, and who knows what other horrors they have in store." Liam nodded grimly. You're right. We can't rest until we've brought them to justice. But we can't do it alone. We need to rally support, expose their crimes to the world. They began reaching out to their contacts, gathering evidence of Ascension's involvement in the pandemic. Slowly but surely, a case began to build against the shadowy organization. As they worked, whispers of a new threat began to surface. Reports of strange, mutated creatures started flooding in from remote regions. Some claimed that Ascension was behind these abominations, while others believed they were an unforeseen consequence of the Prometheus Strain. Liam and Mia knew they had to investigate. They assembled a team of trusted allies and set out to uncover the truth behind these new horrors. In an abandoned Ascension lab, hidden deep in the mountains, they discovered the unsettling reality. The Prometheus Strain had not only ravaged humanity, but also given rise to a new breed of monstrosities. Ascension had been experimenting with the virus, creating twisted hybrids that defied nature itself. As they delved deeper into the lab's secrets, they were ambushed by Ascension's forces. A fierce battle ensued, with Liam and Mia fighting side by side against their adversaries. In the heart of the lab, they confronted the mastermind behind Ascension's experiments, a brilliant but twisted scientist who had been presumed dead. The scientist revealed that the hybrids were just the beginning, and that he planned to unleash a new wave of terror upon the world. Liam and Mia knew they had to stop him at any cost. In a desperate struggle, they managed to destroy the scientist's work and put an end to his mad schemes. But the victory came at a price, with Mia sustaining a severe injury during the fight. As they emerged from the lab, battered and bruised, Liam held Mia close. They had won the battle, but the war was far from over. Ascension was still out there, and new threats loomed on the horizon. But in that moment, none of it mattered. They had each other, and they had hope. Together, they would face whatever challenges the future held, knowing that as long as they stood united, nothing could stop them. The world had been brought to the brink of destruction, but through their unwavering determination and the strength of the human spirit, Liam and Mia had shown that even in the darkest of times, there was always a light to guide the way. Chapter 10. Mia's injury left her bedridden for weeks, but Liam never left her side. He tended to her wounds, both physical and emotional, as they both grappled with the aftermath of their confrontation with Ascension. The world around them slowly began to heal, but the scars of the Prometheus Strain remained. As Mia recovered, they continued their investigation into Ascension, determined to uncover the full extent of the organization's nefarious activities. They followed leads and gathered evidence, piecing together a disturbing picture of genetic experimentation and bioweapons development. One day, a mysterious message arrived, claiming to have information about Ascension's next move. Liam and Mia were hesitant, but they knew they couldn't ignore any potential lead. They arranged a meeting with the anonymous informant in a secluded location. When they arrived, they found themselves face-to-face with Dr. Evelyn Thorne, a former Ascension scientist who had gone into hiding. Dr. Thorne revealed that Ascension had not only been experimenting with the Prometheus Strain, but had also created a new, even more dangerous virus known as the Chimera virus. They planned to release it in major cities around the world, Dr. Thorne explained, her voice trembling. It's designed to target specific genetic markers, wiping out entire populations. They believe it will pave the way for a new world order. Liam and Mia were stunned by the revelation. They knew they had to act fast to prevent another catastrophe. Dr. Thorne provided them with the location of Ascension's main research facility, where the Chimera virus was being developed. Assembling a team of trusted allies, including Dr. Thorne herself, Liam and Mia launched a daring raid on the facility. They faced fierce resistance from Ascension's security forces, but their determination and skill proved too much for their adversaries. As they fought their way into the heart of the facility, they discovered the true mastermind behind Ascension, a billionaire philanthropist named Dante. Dante had been funding Ascension's research, believing that he could harness the power of the viruses to reshape the world according to his own twisted vision. In a final, desperate confrontation, Liam and Mia faced off against Dante and his elite guard. The battle was intense, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. But in the end, Liam and Mia emerged victorious, with Dante lying dead at their feet. They quickly secured the Chimera virus and all of Ascension's research data, ensuring that the organization's twisted legacy would never again threaten the world. As they watched the facility burn, Liam and Mia knew that their fight was far from over. The Prometheus Strain had changed the world forever, and new dangers would always be lurking in the shadows. But they also knew that as long as they had each other and the strength of the human spirit, they could face any challenge that lay ahead. Hand in hand, they walked away from the smoldering ruins, ready to embrace whatever the future held. The world had been through hell, but it had also shown its resilience. And with Liam and Mia as its guardians, there was always hope for a brighter tomorrow. Chapter 11. A New Dawn. The world slowly began to heal from the devastation wrought by Ascension and the Prometheus Strain. Liam and Mia, now hailed as heroes, found themselves at the center of a global effort to rebuild and restore hope to the shattered nations. They worked tirelessly with governments and relief organizations to distribute the cure and provide aid to those in need. The scars left by the virus ran deep, but the resilience of the human spirit proved stronger than any adversity. As the weeks turned into months, Liam and Mia found themselves drawn into a new mystery. Reports of strange phenomena and unexplained disappearances began to surface from around the world. At first, they dismissed the incidents as mere rumors, but as the evidence mounted, they couldn't ignore the disturbing pattern. Their investigation led them to a remote village in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. The locals spoke of an ancient legend, a warning of a great evil that lay dormant beneath the earth. They claimed that the Prometheus Strain was only the beginning, a harbinger of something far more sinister. As Liam and Mia delved deeper into the mystery, they discovered a hidden temple deep within the jungle. Inside, they found inscriptions that spoke of a powerful deity known as the Chimera, a creature born from the fusion of man and beast. They soon realized that Ascension's experiments with the Chimera virus were only the tip of the iceberg. The true purpose of the virus was to create a new race of super soldiers, a merging of human and animal DNA to create the ultimate weapon. With the help of their trusted allies, including the brilliant Dr. Thorne, Liam and Mia raced against time to uncover Ascension's true agenda. They infiltrated secret laboratories and faced off against genetically engineered monstrosities, each threat more terrifying than the last. But as they peeled back the layers of the conspiracy, they began to question their own humanity. The lines between man and beast blurred, and they found themselves grappling with the very nature of their existence. In a climactic battle, deep within Ascension's stronghold, Liam and Mia confronted the mastermind behind the Chimera project. The true puppet master was none other than Elijah Dante, reborn through the power of the virus he had helped create. The confrontation pushed Liam and Mia to their limits, both physically and emotionally. They were forced to confront their own demons and make impossible choices in the face of unimaginable horror. In the end, they emerged victorious, but at a great cost. The world had been saved from the Chimera threat, but the scars would never fully heal. Liam and Mia knew that their fight was far from over, that the battle against humanity's darkest impulses would continue for generations to come. As they looked to the horizon, they saw the dawn of a new era, a world forever changed by the Prometheus Strain. But they also saw hope, the indomitable spirit of humanity, and the unwavering love they shared. Hand in hand, they stepped forward into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring. For in the end, it was not the virus that defined them, but the strength of their courage and the power of their compassion. Chapter 12. Shadows of the Past. As the world recovered from the horrors of the Chimera project, Liam and Mia found themselves grappling with a new challenge. The scars left by Ascension's experiments ran deep, not just in the physical world, but in the hearts and minds of those who had survived. Reports began to surface of individuals exhibiting strange abilities, powers that defied explanation. Some claimed to have heightened senses, while others demonstrated remarkable healing capabilities, or even the ability to manipulate the elements. Liam and Mia knew that these were no mere coincidences. They suspected that the Chimera virus, despite being eradicated, had left a lasting impact on the human genome. The implications were both fascinating and terrifying. As they delved deeper into the mystery, they uncovered a secret society known as the Prometheus Initiative. This group, composed of former Ascension scientists and wealthy benefactors, believed that the Chimera virus was the key to unlocking the next stage of human evolution. The Prometheus Initiative had been working in the shadows, continuing the experiments that Ascension had begun. They saw the virus not as a threat, but as a tool to reshape humanity in their own image. Liam and Mia found themselves in a race against time to stop the Prometheus Initiative before they could unleash a new wave of genetically engineered horrors upon the world. They infiltrated hidden laboratories and confronted the masterminds behind the organization, but the true scope of the threat remained elusive. As they battled against the Prometheus Initiative, Liam and Mia were forced to confront their own guilt and regrets. The decisions they had made in the fight against Ascension weighed heavily upon them, and they began to question whether they were truly the heroes the world believed them to be. But even in their darkest moments, they found strength in each other and in the unwavering support of their allies. Dr. Thorne, now a trusted friend and confidant, worked tirelessly to unravel the secrets of the Chimera virus and develop new treatments for those affected by its lingering effects. As the final confrontation with the Prometheus Initiative loomed, Liam and Mia discovered a shocking truth. The leaders of the organization were not mere scientists or businessmen, but rather the remnants of Ascension's inner circle, thought to have perished in the final battle. Among them was Elijah Dante, his body ravaged by the virus, but his mind as sharp and twisted as ever. He revealed that the Prometheus Initiative was not just about creating a new race of super soldiers, but about attaining godhood itself. In a climactic showdown, Liam and Mia confronted Elijah and his followers in a battle that threatened to tear apart the very fabric of reality. They pushed themselves to the brink of their own humanity, drawing upon the power within them to defeat their enemies once and for all. As the dust settled and the world began to heal once more, Liam and Mia knew that their journey was far from over. The Prometheus Strain had changed them forever, but it had also given them a new purpose. They dedicated themselves to helping those affected by the virus, to ensuring that the mistakes of the past were never repeated. And as they looked to the future, they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united by the unbreakable bond of their love and the strength of their resolve. For in the end, the true legacy of the Prometheus Strain was not the destruction it had wrought, but the resilience and courage of those who had survived it. And in that legacy, Liam and Mia found the hope and inspiration to build a better world, one step at a time. Chapter 13, Echoes of Evolution. In the weeks following the defeat of the Prometheus Initiative, Liam and Mia found themselves at the center of a new world order. The revelation of the Chimera virus's lasting impact on the human genome had sent shockwaves through the global community, sparking both fear and fascination. As more individuals began to exhibit extraordinary abilities, governments and organizations scrambled to understand and control the phenomenon. Some saw the emergence of these evolved humans as a threat, while others viewed it as an opportunity to harness their powers for their own gain. Liam and Mia, having seen firsthand the dangers of unchecked ambition and the consequences of playing God, took it upon themselves to guide this new generation of enhanced individuals. They established a network of safe havens, where those affected by the virus could learn to control their abilities and find a sense of community. But even as they worked to build a brighter future, shadows from the past continued to haunt them. Rumors began to circulate of a new group, one that had risen from the ashes of the Prometheus Initiative. This group, calling themselves the Echoes of Evolution, believed that the evolved humans were the rightful inheritors of the Earth, destined to rule over the inferior masses. As reports of attacks and disappearances mounted, Liam and Mia knew they had to act fast. They gathered their allies, old and new, and began to investigate the echoes of evolution, delving into the murky underworld of genetic experimentation and transhumanism. Their search led them to a remote island facility where the echoes of evolution were rumored to be conducting their most dangerous experiments yet. Infiltrating the heavily guarded compound, Liam and Mia discovered a horror beyond their wildest nightmares. The echoes of evolution had not only been experimenting on evolved humans, but also on the Chimera virus itself. They had created a new strain, one that promised to grant even greater powers to those who survived its transformative effects. But the price of such power was steep. The new strain, dubbed the Prometheus Strain in a twisted homage to its predecessor, threatened to consume its hosts, turning them into living weapons, devoid of humanity or free will. As Liam and Mia raced to stop the echoes of evolution from unleashing this new plague upon the world, they found themselves pushed to their limits, both physically and mentally. The strain of their own abilities, combined with the weight of their responsibilities, threatened to crush them. But in their darkest hour, they found strength in each other and in the bonds they had forged with their fellow survivors. Together, they mounted a final, desperate assault on the island facility, risking everything to prevent the Prometheus Strain from escaping. In a battle that shook the very foundations of the island, Liam and Mia confronted the leaders of the echoes of evolution, pitting their own enhanced abilities against those of their foes. The fate of the world hung in the balance, as the two sides clashed in a ferocious display of power and determination. As the dust settled and the smoke cleared, Liam and Mia emerged victorious, but at a great cost. The island lay in ruins, and the Prometheus Strain had been contained, but the scars of the battle would linger long after the final shot had been fired. In the aftermath of the crisis, Liam and Mia knew that their work was far from over. The world had changed, and with it, the very nature of what it meant to be human. But as they looked to the future, they knew that they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, as they always had. Together, united by their love and their unwavering commitment to protecting the innocent. And so, the legacy of the Prometheus Strain lived on, not as a symbol of humanity's hubris, but as a testament to its resilience, its courage, and its indomitable spirit. For in the face of even the greatest darkness, there would always be those who stood ready to light the way forward to a brighter, more hopeful tomorrow. Chapter 14, A New Dawn. As the world grappled with the aftermath of the Prometheus Strain and the revelation of the evolved humans, Liam and Mia found themselves at the forefront of a new era. The battle against the echoes of evolution had taken its toll, both physically and emotionally, but they knew that their work was far from over. With the help of their allies, they began to establish a network of support and guidance for the evolved humans, offering them a safe haven where they could learn to harness their abilities for the greater good. It was a daunting task, but one that Liam and Mia embraced with unwavering determination. As they traveled the world, connecting with other evolved humans and helping them find their place in this new reality, they began to see glimmers of hope amidst the chaos. Stories of evolved humans using their powers to save lives, to protect the innocent, and to make a positive difference in their communities started to emerge. But even as progress was made, new challenges arose. Some governments, fearful of the potential threat posed by the evolved humans, began to implement strict regulations and surveillance measures. Others sought to exploit the evolved for their own gain, using them as weapons or tools in their quest for power. Liam and Mia knew that they had to act fast to prevent a new crisis from unfolding. They began to work with leaders and organizations around the world, advocating for the rights of the evolved and promoting a message of unity and understanding. As they navigated the complex web of politics and prejudice, they found unexpected allies in their fight for equality. Some of the evolved humans they had helped in the past stepped up to join their cause, using their abilities to protect and serve their communities. Together, they began to build a movement, one that sought to bridge the gap between the evolved and the rest of humanity. It was a slow and often painful process, but gradually attitudes began to shift, and understanding began to grow. And through it all, Liam and Mia's bond only grew stronger. The love and trust they shared served as a beacon of hope for all those who followed in their footsteps, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit could endure and triumph. As the years passed, The world began to change, shaped by the presence of the evolved and the lessons learned from the Prometheus Strain. Governments and organizations adapted, finding ways to work with the evolved rather than against them. New technologies and innovations emerged, born from the collaboration between the evolved and the brightest minds of the day. Cures for once incurable diseases were discovered, clean energy solutions were developed, and the very fabric of society began to evolve. And at the center of it all stood Liam and Mia, the heroes who had risked everything to protect the world from the Prometheus Strain and guide humanity toward a brighter future. Their legacy lived on, inspiring generations to come, a testament to the power of love, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of the human race. As they looked back on their journey, from the early days of the Chimera virus to the rise of the evolved, Liam and Mia knew that their fight was not over. There would always be new challenges to face, new threats to confront, but they also knew that they would never have to face them alone. For they had each other, and they had the support of all those who had joined them in their quest for a better world. Together, they would continue to stand against the darkness, to light the way forward, and to shape the future of humanity, one small act of kindness and compassion at a time. And so, a new dawn began, a dawn of hope, of unity, and of endless possibility. The world had been forever changed by the events of the Prometheus Strain, but it had emerged stronger, wiser, and more connected than ever before. And at the heart of it all, guiding the way forward, stood Liam and Mia, the guardians of the future, the champions of the human spirit. Chapter 15. Guardians of the Future. In the years that followed, Liam and Mia's influence continued to grow, spreading like a beacon of hope across the globe. The network they had established for the evolved humans flourished, providing support, guidance, and a sense of belonging to those who had once felt isolated and afraid. As the stories of the evolved humans' heroic deeds spread, public opinion began to shift. People started to see them not as a threat, but as protectors and allies in the fight for a better world. Governments that had once sought to control and exploit the evolved began to seek their cooperation and guidance. Liam and Mia found themselves at the center of this new era, working tirelessly to build bridges between the evolved and the rest of humanity. They met with world leaders, spoke at conferences, and used their platform to advocate for understanding, equality, and progress. But even as they worked to shape the future, they never forgot the lessons of the past. They knew that the Prometheus Strain had been born from the unchecked ambition and reckless disregard for the consequences of scientific progress. They made it their mission to ensure that such a tragedy would never happen again. Together with their allies, both evolved and unenhanced, they established new institutions dedicated to the responsible advancement of science and technology. They fostered a culture of transparency, accountability, and ethical considerations in all fields of research and development. As the years turned into decades, the world continued to change, shaped by the presence of the evolved and the wisdom gained from the Prometheus Strain. New generations were born into a reality where the existence of the evolved was a given, and the old prejudices and fears gradually faded into memory. Liam and Mia watched with pride as the evolved humans they had mentored and supported took on leadership roles in their communities, using their abilities to drive positive change and innovation. They saw the rise of new technologies and breakthroughs that would have once seemed impossible, all born from the collaboration between the evolved and the brightest minds of the age. And through it all, their love for each other only grew stronger, a testament to the unbreakable bond they shared. They faced new challenges and triumphs together, always drawing strength from the knowledge that they had each other and the support of all those who believed in their cause. As they entered their twilight years, Liam and Mia looked back on their lives with a sense of fulfillment and gratitude. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, had fought for a better world, and watched it take shape before their eyes. They knew that their work was not finished, that there would always be new threats to face and new challenges to overcome. But they also knew that they had laid the foundation for a brighter future, one in which the evolved and the unenhanced could stand together as equals, united in their shared humanity. And so, as they passed the torch to the next generation of leaders and guardians, Liam and Mia could rest easy, knowing that the world was in good hands. For they had shown that even in the face of the greatest adversity, the human spirit could rise above, could adapt and evolve, and emerge stronger than ever before. Their legacy would live on, not just in the history books, but in the hearts and minds of all those who had been touched by their courage, their compassion, and their unwavering belief in the power of unity and hope. And as the sun set on their story, casting a warm glow over the world they had helped to build, Liam and Mia knew that they had fulfilled their destiny. They had been the guardians of the future, the champions of the human spirit, and they had left the world a better place than they had found it. The end.